Hello, back to another episode of Wisco featuring Simon and his smoke alarm and myself. Bryant is busy and Tyler is dealing with he's not feeling well, so hopefully he feels better tomorrow. I'm very excited to talk about the Bruins. Not so excited to talk about the Badgers, but hey, that's what we do here. We talk Wisconsin sports. So I'm going to hit the intro and then we're going to get started.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatic Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Yeah, so I thought that was your smoke alarm going off. I'm sorry if that wasn't. Maybe
I didn't hear. No, I fixed all my smoke alarms like last month.
Oh,
They all started going off at one time.
That makes sense. We talk about blitz and coverage that you saw from the Packers defense and get your thoughts on that. So what do you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean.
Right now, if you're talking, brother, to be honest with you. About it? Cannot. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Okay. You've figured that out. Let me just talk about pass rush and D-line real quick, and then I'll let you come back to that.
No.
In terms of, so the Packers obviously had one sack, and that was from Parsons in overtime. That saved the game, really, because the Packers did not go down and score a touchdown in the overtime. I got a lot of opinions on the overtime rules and ending in a tie. We're in the year 2025. Why are we having ties? That doesn't make any sense to me. We shouldn't have any ties. Ties should not make sense. They should not that they should fully adopt the college football rule, but I do think that going to a 2-point off after the 10 minutes is over with might be a good idea, in my opinion. It's only a couple extra plays. You want to do player safety. I get it. Somebody's going to miss a pass. Somebody's going to end up short of the goal line eventually. So I feel like a 2-point off is really the best solution. We don't need ties. These are grown men who are paid millions and millions of dollars. So on top of that, I said the one sack of the game that saved the game for the Packers was Micah Parsons in overtime. And for any Cowboys fans crying about it, he was clearly short of the line of scrimmage. Packers had on the quarterback, one hit. That was the only hit on quarterback the Packers had. And obviously why it is very, very important. Dallas did do the ball run. So with that being said, I have Tyler's notes on the D-line. I'm just going to go into that real quick before I let you go, brother. So let me get into the D-line here. said before, a lot last season and season. As goes Devontae Wyatt, so goes the Packers defense. Through 3 weeks, I labeled him as a Pro Bowler, and I think before and after his absence showed his importance. Parsons registered 10 pressures and 30 pass rushes. Brooks had 5, LVN had 2, Gary had 0, but played very well versus the run. D-line was okay, but it needed Devontae Wyatt. Yeah, we just don't have the depth at D-tackle after trading, and obviously during the game. The depth really just kind of went away. I know they played LVN at D-tackle a little bit during the game, but yeah, they clearly need Devontae Wyatt on the field. So I'm going to go back to Simon about blitz and coverage. So go ahead, brother.
Can you hear me now? I'm good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I don't know. Apparently, right when we start the show, my mic just decided to crap itself. So, but yeah, back to kind of what I was saying. It seems like the Packers are very content into just rushing for, and so we only ended up blitzing on 6 times the whole night, with fairly mixed results. There was 3 completions, and I mean, Pickens caught this ball and it was an incredible play by him, but like that was the one that was down near the 1 yard line on the left side of the field where he just had a crazy catch. So you can't even really blame. I mean, that was just an incredible play by Pickens. And then I went Turpin for 10 and Turpin for 15. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag, but I mean, you can't blame the secondary for the coverage on that Pickens catch. That was crazy. They played 34 snaps, of nickel, 23 snaps in base defense, which is more than we've seen like recently, which was a little surprising. And then 12 snaps of what they call the cheetah defense, which they replace one of the D-line with one of the edge guys. And that's kind of what I got out of what I saw.
All right. So for me personally, if I get in on the coverage thing, can we just blitz a little bit more? I want to blitz a little bit more. I know that he wants to play a style where we rush 4 and we drop back 7 guys, but you can't just live like that all the time. I think that Quay Walker and Cooper is way too talented of blitzers. I know that he blitzed McKinney a couple times. I personally like McKinney being the deep third guy. I know that Evan Williams has been pretty good at it, but that's just me personally, I guess. I would play a little bit more tight man and blitz a little bit more, show some different looks. You know, you show the Parsons. Obviously, the quarterback's going to be thinking they got to take a deep shot, right? So they don't have time to take a deep shot with Micah Parsons coming off the edge. So, I mean, give him some different looks. It's just kind of my opinion on it. I would have liked some adjustments. It was kind of getting ran all over, and with Wyatt being out, blitzing another guy would have been nice. So let's go to linebacker and tackling. I know this is usually Bryant's topic, but do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think. I mean, there were a lot of missed tackles this week, but the other part of that too is like PFF credited the team with 8 or 9 missed tackles. I forget. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. But the problem was with a missed tackle, unlike, you know, the Lions game where we saw as soon as a guy missed a tackle, there was another dude there. And that wasn't really the case versus Dallas. And I remember an Edge Cooper missed tackle, which he missed 3 himself. It was down the middle. Edge Cooper missed him. Juke left, and then there was nobody else there. And so you ended up with like a pretty good gain on the tackle. So it's just like this game just seemed like there wasn't a lot of guys just around the ball compared to the last 3 weeks. And I think that's kind of a lot of what attributed to the defense having as well a good portion of what attributed to the defense not having as good a game, especially versus the run.
Yeah, I agree. I said it in the chat earlier. I felt like people weren't rallying to the ball like they were the first couple. For that, it just felt like the energy hasn't been the same. I know they kind of got deflated towards the end of that Browns game. I feel like the defense was just exhausted, but and the defense came out with a better attitude, I thought, this game. But then after the blocked extra point and then the fumble, which we'll get into towards at the end of this episode. That'll probably be the last thing that we do. I think that just kind of deflates the team. But as a leader, that's where Micah Parsons comes in really important. Guys like Xavier McKinney and Rashawn Gary, that's where those guys kind of have to step up and pick the young guys' heads up. Like, hey, we got to go bail out the offense now, because that's the team game, right? Getting into third and fourth down defense, that is something that I cover. If I can click that on there. Still, apparently. So third and fourth down defense, we held them to 5 for 11 total. So in the first half, we held them to 0 for 3. In the for 8. The first third down conversion was at the 5:44 mark of the third quarter, which is freaking insane to think about in a game that ended 40-40. I also did a tally of their average down and distance. So in the first half, like I said, 3, they had to try to convert a 3rd and 4, a 3rd and 5, and a 3rd and 12. So it's a 7.6 yard average, and the Packers held them 0 for 3. In the second half, they had a 14, 6, 3, 2, 5, 3, 5, and 4. That's 42 total yards. That's an average of 5.25. 42 divided by 8 is 5.25. And they were on a streak towards the end of the game where they converted 4 of 5 after starting 0 for 4. And the last one they didn't convert was because Micah Parsons literally sacked Dak Prescott. Otherwise, they probably would have converted that one for a touchdown. Dak and the Cowboys offense was doing literally whatever they wanted to the Packers defense. And that was frustrating to watch. But getting into, we're going to do third down, then I'll the red zone. Or we're going to do secondary. I apologize. You're going to cover secondary, and then we'll get into the red zone.
Yep. Oh, man. It was just where did my notes go on that? Okay, there it is. Sorry. It was just a struggle bus for the corners this week. Between Nixon, Bullard, Hobbs, and Valentine, they combined to allow Dak Prescott to go 17 for 23 for 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, Valentine ended up letting up a perfect passer rating in coverage, and it was just a struggle for them to contain. I mean, there was a couple really nice plays by Dallas, like the one where Dak Prescott off platform like whipped it 40 yards down the field to I think it was Turpin or I forget the other wide receiver's name. I can picture his face, but that was just like you have to tip your cap to stuff like that, where it's just there's not much the corners can really do on a play like that. But I thought coming out of the gate, they played pretty well. Nixon had 2 forced incompletions. I thought he played pretty decently sticky throughout the game. He allowed a passer rating of 78, which isn't bad. Like, I'll take that all day. But yeah, like everyone else just kind of allowed anything and everything in the second half. It seemed like it was just, they would huck it down the field and a guy would be open.
Yeah, freaking that catch by George Pickens was just that was otherworldly. Like,
you can't. That's just like I said. This is something you can't do anything about. They played really good coverage. The dude was right there. He got blasted as soon as he caught it, and somehow got his toes down. And it's just, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, and then obviously the catch by Turpin towards the end of the game where Nixon was on him, and then that Dak was going to make it that far, and Dak just kind of did a Jordan Love throw and faded it away, and it got there, man. That's just a couple of those plays. Was on fire. It's when I was watching that game, I'm thinking about the quarterbacks, and I'm giving a little bit away, so I won't repeat it. But it just kind of reminded me of 2 guys in basketball, and both of them are on fire. Like, neither of them can miss. They're both just doing what they're doing. Backs, they're getting to the rim, they're coming off screens and shooting pull-up jumpers from 3. Like, they were just good scorers that were just on fire. They had touch. That happens sometimes, honestly.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get into the red zone defense, which is what I cover. Tyler covers the offense. I will have his notes when we get there. Red zone, we gave up 4 touchdowns on 5 attempts. One of the touchdowns was on one play. That was unfortunate. That was the play right after the forced fumble. And the field goal they got was the possession, obviously, in overtime. But they only took 11 plays for the Cowboys to score 4 touchdowns. That is insane efficiency, bro. That's insane efficiency. Yeah. I wanted to kind of change up my coverage on some of this stuff. I don't want to read play for play, but I mean, honestly, 11 plays for was wild, and they ran in overtime. So you do the math.
Yeah,
insane. I'll let you if you want. I do have, but you go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know even how to approach this without like sound like one of the guys on some of the pages I sound like, but like I don't, and I guess I'll just read Bryant's first, and then so this is Bryant talking, not me. Special team stocks. I don't know how Rich Bisaccia is employed, which I at this point like I kind of agree with, and like I'm not like you guys know that I'm not the type of guy that's like, oh, fire this dude after 1 week, but like this is just consistent failures on the special teams. And Rich Bisaccia is he's the highest paid special teams coordinator / assistant coach in the league. So you expect some improvement even over the years, and you just see failure after failure. It's just like, especially 2 weeks in a row where they blocked a field goal attempt or a PAT, whatever, and like got points off of it. And it's just like, how do you not go in the week emphasizing that? And it's frustrating to watch because that's like a 3-point swing where, butterfly effect, who knows what would have actually happened had they not blocked that. And we went with a 14-0 lead as opposed to a 13-2 lead. But like, it's just frustrating to watch. And I wasn't here for the Browns recap, but like that's such a frustrating way to lose a game that I felt like they had handily for, 54 minutes of the game or whatever it was. But on the bright side, McManus, he's still a good signing. That's one of the things that like his stats don't reflect how good he's been for us. Like it's going to reflect 2 missed field goals, 3 total, because he actually missed one on the year, but that's not 100% true. And maybe those go in, maybe they don't. But I'd like to think that everything we've heard from McManus in the offseason and we've seen so far this season is he would have made those pretty good. So Matt LaFleur starting, I'm going to go back to Bryant, what Bryant was saying. Matt LaFleur starting to worry me with his ability to game manage. I think I'm getting into coaching a little bit, but okay, I am getting into coaching. I apologize. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of it for special teams. It's just frustrating to watch. I don't know if you have any additional thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I'll give my thoughts on special teams. So obviously the block kicks back-to-back weeks, that's really frustrating to see. And watching the Cowboys return that back, I'm just like, I had a sick feeling in my stomach. I'm like, oh shit, we got a ball game now, dude. It just felt to me like momentum switched. And enough about is we didn't even make the field Brandon Aubrey's kicks off kickoffs until the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
4 or 5 of them, and then he finally adjusts on like the second one. He looked like Savion Williams looked like he was lost out there. Like they just said, "Yeah, go figure it out." So, bro, you're the head coach, special teams, and you're the assistant head coach, right? So he should be helping Matt LaFleur with stuff like time management, right? That should be something that goes into it. I'm just going to collectively put this all into one thing with coaching and time possession.
Yeah. Okay.
In a second. But how are the Packers in the final 2 minutes? Not very good, right? They struggled. They were, after the timeout and after the false start by Kennard, I would have packed it up and went into overtime, to be completely honest with you. And I know that usually how I am. I'm usually kind of a little bit more kind of guy. But that was just poorly ran. Okay. This thing is, yeah.
I can still hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, and Bisaccia, his days have to be numbered, honestly. I can't roll.
I agree. Yeah, I think going still into coaching and stuff like some of the Matt LaFleur things kind of get to me a little bit, and like I'm not the one to kind of bitch about Matt LaFleur at all, because I think mostly he's a pretty good head coach, but at the end of the day, I don't get the last 2 minutes of overtime. Like I don't understand what the plan of action was, because it seemed like the offense was just strolling. And it seemed like they wanted to play for the tie. And I get not wanting to give Brandon Aubrey a lot of time to kick a field goal because he can kick probably a 70-yarder. And it seems like every kicker nowadays is doing that. But like it just kind of worries me a little bit because it seems like I would rather them huck the ball 4 times in the end zone trying to win the game than I would with a tie. Like if Jordan Love went out there and threw 4 balls in the end zone and all of them were incomplete, I would have been much more satisfied knowing that they were trying to go for the win than play for the tie. And they almost ended up losing it because Jordan Love and the offense was strolling up to the line as they threw a ball in the end zone that ended up being incomplete with 1 second left. So I don't know. But before overtime, like I had no problems with the way Matt LaFleur called the game. I mean, the offense put up 40 points. Like, how mad can you actually be? Or 37 in regulation. So I understand the frustrations when people say stuff like it seems like they're not playing to win. And that really came out this week. And I was scratching my head with, a minute left and we're in their zone. Like, I don't know how we're not playing hurry up offense and trying to go for the win. I don't get it. So I think that's what really bothered me this week about Matt LaFleur. But going into the offense, as we wait for Jake to fix some technical difficulties, I hope you guys are hanging in there. But I'll just start. I'll talk about the tight ends. It seems like last week, it seemed like John Fitzpatrick was kind of eating at Luke Musgraves, and there was this kind of 50-50 snapshot on offense. But then, Musgrave comes out and he plays 26 snaps and 20 and at the true tight end spot. And then that Fitzpatrick played 10 and 7 at a 10 end spot. I guess we'll have to see what they think about that. Musgrave's not really known to be a good blocker. I thought he blocked decently well this last week. Minus if we go into the blocked PAT, that was completely on him. I don't know what happened. He whiffed on the guy, and that obviously allowed the Cowboys to come down and get 2 points. Despite playing all of the snaps, Musgrave only ended up with 6 yards receiving, and Packers threw for 337. It's just I don't really understand the consistency of using him on offense. I guess he still has a year on his contract, so I guess we'll see what happens. I thought Kraft had a really solid outing. He had 5 for 5 for 56 yards. He still does his thing. We'll see how they feature him a little bit more in the offense. I'd like to see that. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed in the offense, so who knows what's going on each week, but Kraft's, I think, one of our most reliable guys to get him the ball, and he's really good with the ball in his hands. Going up to the run game, I think Josh Jacobs had a week. He carried the ball 22 times for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 4 catches for 71 yards. But, I mean, the offense still has some peaking issues in the run game. Getting guys open or getting Jacobs open. 97% of his rushing yards this season have come after contact, 6th highest in the league with a minimum of 25 carries. I think that's absolutely crazy work that you can't get more space for him. On the bright side, he did force 3 missed tackles. I thought Emmanuel Wilson came in, and I think they'll try to find a way to get Emmanuel Wilson going a little bit more. He added 8 rushes, which was a season high for him for 44 yards. Jordan Love with a really long run. I love the way he's running the ball this year. I really do. And obviously last year with the injuries and stuff, he couldn't really move around a lot. But man, he's running so well this year. He had 3 rushes for 28 yards, including a 24-yard run. Wide receivers had 2 carries for 6 yards total. Williams with 1 and Golden with 5. All in all, this team ran 35 times for 164 yards. So this was kind of a better rushing day than we've seen the past 2 weeks. I kind of just went over tight ends and the run game. I don't know if you had any thoughts on any of that.
Run game and tight ends. So tight ends, I don't know how after week 2 performance from Tucker Kraft, we don't continue to just absolutely spam him in the pass game, especially with Jaden Reed and Christian Watson out. I understand wanting to throw the ball deep still, and Love got plenty of shots to go deep this last week. But, still having those little checkdowns and putting Love in down and distance situations, still having the power run game, I think is something that is vital to his game. You said you went over run game as well.
Yep.
So run game I thought looked fucking fantastic, dude. It was so nice to see Josh Jacobs running in the open field countless times. He needed a game like that for confidence. The Packers offensive line needed a game like that for confidence. Overall, I thought, did you cover O-line? That's usually Brian.
No, I was going to go over that next if you didn't pop. But okay. I don't know if you heard my stat for the run game. Josh Jacobs, 97% of his rushing yards this season have come after contact.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah, so you went over tight ends. We got to go over wide receivers. That's usually Bryant's as well. So you want to cover wide receivers? What do you think?
Bryant didn't have too much for the wide receivers, but I guess we'll just start with the highlight. Romeo Doubs, 3 touchdowns, hat trick. Good for him. And we always say it, like, I think he has the most reliable wide receiver we have. Not the best. I still honestly don't think we pay him. I think there's a reason we drafted 2 wide receivers and gave Christian Watson another year next year. So it'll be sad to see him go if he doesn't get paid. Not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think someone else pays him more than Green Bay is probably going to be willing to offer. But 3 touchdowns from him. I thought the wide receiver, just in general, the receiving or pass catchers played an amazing game. And I thought Jordan Love just slung it out there all game. It was like nobody could miss. Matthew Golden had a really good game, I thought.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of Romeo Doubs and contract, I'm going to piggyback off that first. It's really hard to say that he's going to get signed because we have 2 other guys that have been playing really, really well on the other side of the ball that also have to get paid. Obviously, we see the importance of Devontae Wyatt. You probably get him for a little bit cheaper because he has been banged up since he's got here, but the importance of him...
They took his 5th-year option. Remember?
You're right. They did, but they declined Quay's 5th-year option. So Quay is the guy that's going to have to get paid as well, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. He looked like the best player on defense multiple times on Sunday.
Did you know he hasn't missed a tackle this year?
I believe that. I actually believe that. He's been flying to the ball. He looks very confident calling the defense, calling the audibles. He looks good out there, dude. He looks honestly good. People came into this year all excited about Cooper, and respect well-deserved, in my opinion, but they have not been giving enough respect to Quay Walker and how well he's been playing. I think that his praise needs to be louder, especially coming from a guy who was deemed attitude problems and showed some immaturity in his rookie and his second season. And now the person that he's kind of developed into, I mean, everything's kind of coming together completely for him. So I thought that he's been tremendous. In terms of other wide receivers, I don't understand why Wicks isn't being targeted a little bit more. I mean, I understand, Romeo had a tremendous game, 3 touchdowns. I mean, seeing the Marshmallow Head run around is just fucking crazy. Scoring touchdowns.
I love the stack where it was Golden and him, or I'm sorry, not Golden, Williams, Savion Williams and him with the. Love that.
That's so funny. Also, Golden, I thought, played really well for him to make that catch on 4th down the first time
huge.
overtime. And he's all hands. So if you do lose a guy like Romeo, you can feel pretty good about where you're at with a guy like Matthew Golden because, like Romeo, he catches everything with ease.
Yeah.
And that's what gives you a lot of confidence in a guy like that. Where like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson, as electric as they can be, they're body catchers sometimes. And that's what leads to their drops. Same thing with Wicks. Where Kraft, talking about tight ends before, he is more of a hands catch kind of guy, I feel like. I feel like Musgrave has good hands too. He just doesn't have good feet for some reason. Talking about passing game distribution, I'm not sure if I can get to my notes from here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, so that's fine. So pass game distribution, Tyler wrote 10 players targeted, 10 players with receptions. Love that. 14 for 14 behind the line of scrimmage, 12 for 12 from 0 to 9, 4 for 5 from 10 to 19, and 1 for 5 on 20 plus. Didn't connect on deep balls, but perfect on short stuff and good on intermediate. So I agree with what Tyler said. The one big shot they did hit was to Matthew Golden, and Golden and Wicks were both running the same route, and they were both open. So either one of them caught it. I was happy. That was the first drive of the game.
That someone messed up there, right? Like, I assume like Matthew Goldman ran the wrong route.
I'm going to assume, and then he still took the pass. Honestly, if you would have threw that to Wicks might have scored a touchdown on that play.
Yeah,
because he was deeper than the corner, and then Matthew Golden was the next guy after. So that was honestly a weird developing play. I was just happy that somebody wearing a Packers jersey caught it. I was just like, okay, whatever. We caught the ball. That's fine. So let's go to O-line, which is Bryant's. So you can go first on the O-line and tell me what you thought.
I thought it was a little bit of an improvement this week. A huge improvement from last week. I thought Jenkins played a really solid game all around. The penalties, man, they kill. There were 6 penalties on the O-line this week, and it makes it harder for the offense. And luckily, Dallas's defense isn't that good, but like versus the Browns or something, that those are just drive killers. Yep. But all in all, not bad. I thought they opened up the running game a little bit more. I thought pass protection was a little bit better, a lot better than it was last week. But I also think Matt LaFleur's, I should have mentioned this during, I thought Matt LaFleur did it. I was going to kind of, I guess, talk about it with Jordan Love a little bit. Matt LaFleur did a good job. And this is why, when people say, Matt LaFleur is like a bum play caller, I just don't understand. They put up, 37 points in regulation, and they kept Jordan Love pretty clean. I think he was sacked maybe once or twice that I remember. But the quick passing game worked. They had 2 deep shots. One of them connected. But, all in all, I'm getting a little off topic. Sorry. I start rambling. But, all in all, I like what the offensive line put together this week. And Kennard he's good in the run game. He's a grader, dude. He'll fucking mow some people down. But he could use a little work in his pass protection.
I'm going to say something that not a lot of people are going to agree with. But I honestly, I'm okay with Morgan taking over at left guard. I understand that they signed Banks and all that stuff, but you gotta get the reps. That's the only thing that's gonna get you better. Is you gotta get the reps.
And that's when I see people crapping on Morgan, I'm like, I get it. He hasn't been playing well, but he was out all his rookie year, and he's not gonna get better by stashing him on the bench. Yeah. So they're just trying to fit him in wherever and let him get reps so he knows what it's like. Because assuming Rashid doesn't come back next year, he's probably going to be the guy at left tackle unless they do something wild and draft someone.
Yeah, you got to get him used to stunts and blitzes and calls at the line and playing on the road and playing at home. You got to get him used to all that stuff. You're not going to experience any of that by holding a clipboard, or at least it's not going to be the same feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. Obviously, I would love for us to come back from the bye week, have a fully healthy old line, and then we just literally beat the shit out of the Cincinnati Bengals. That would be an ideal world. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have a new quarterback by the time they come to Lambeau Field, because there's no way they're going to go the next couple of months with Jake Browning. With the way that division looks.
Well, their offensive line is just, that's a tough team to watch. I don't know if you watched that Broncos game last night. They rushed 3, and they had one dude get blocked by 4 offensive linemen, and they let 2. They still got the sack. It was absolutely insane watching their offensive line work. Whoever they stick back there is going to get killed no matter what.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I watched the first quarter of that game. I was watching the Dolphins
Dolphins.
game on and off. But then I was just like, "Ugh, both these games are kind of boring, honestly. So I was like,
I don't know. The
I'm
Jets
gonna go
the
to bed.
Jets Dolphins game ended up being kind of a game a little bit.
Yeah, a
It
little
wasn't that
bit.
bad.
The Jets defense is bad.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another day. Yeah, we do like other team. We do watch other games other than the Packers. If people are surprised by that, but we can go into no. You covered the run game. We
Yep.
can go into third down offense. Let me go back to Tyler's notes here. So third. Oh no, that's mine. I am handicapped. So third down offense. Uh, Dude, I'm scrambling right now because this
You're good,
damn
dude.
laptop's
You're
throwing me
good,
off,
man.
brother. So third down offense, you know, this is why we try to tell you that context matters in a lot of things. Because holding the Cowboys to 5 for 11 on third down and the Packers going 10 for 14 on third downs makes zero sense why this game was tied. Just like last week when I talked about the Browns and the Packers, the Browns were not as efficient on third down as the Packers were. So third down overall, I could probably take Tyler's notes off the screen since it's in my notebook. Um, the Packers 10 for 14 overall in the first half. They had a 9-yarder, 5-yarder, 18-yarder, 3-yarder, 5-yarder, 10-yarder. So 50 total yards, so 8.3 total. Super efficient. Second half, they had a 1-yarder, 2-yarder, 2-yarder, 8-yarder, 10-yarder, 1-yarder, so 24, so 4-yard average. They were 5 for 5 on third and short situations, 1 for 3 on third and medium, and 4 for 6 on the third and longs, which I was really shocked by. They had one fourth down conversion, which was Matthew Golden, which I already talked about was super clutch, but that cannot get understated how well he ran the route. He sat down, and Jordan Love delivered a ball that was going to be low and not going to get his guy killed, giving only his guy a chance to catch it unless somebody from Dallas made an incredibly athletic diving play, which would have been insane. Would have been a shitty way to lose, but it would have been like, guy made a play, bro. Like, that's what it
Yep.
would have been. And then in overtime, we had a 6-yarder and a 14-yarder for 10-yard average. Converted both of them. So we got that going for us. Offense overall on third downs has been pretty good on the season, and I hope it continues.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
you have any? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have any thoughts?
No, you're good. You're good. I can't add anything to that. That's exactly what I would have said.
Okay, so red zone offense. Red zone offense, Tyler has. So he wrote first trip, 3rd and 5 at 17, 16-yarder to Kraft. Ryan false start, Jacobs 3 yards, touchdown to 87. Second trip, 1st and goal at the 1 after 28 yards on check down to Jacobs. That play was freaking nasty. Second touchdown to 87. Third trip, 1st and 19, Kraft to the 1. A stupid false start penalty on Jenkins. That is so silly.
Dude, like I get that's like quote unquote the rule, but I don't think I've seen that called all season. It was such a ticky-tack weird penalty to see.
I would love to know the last time that was called, to be completely honest. Because I've seen it called before. I have seen it called before where the centers are kind of docking with the actual spot of the ball. But dude, that's such a silly penalty in that situation. Honestly, it would have been better like when the tush push happened last year in the playoffs against the Commanders, where like the referee was like, "We have warned the entire defense." Like if they would have made an announcement, be like, "We have warned the center from Green Bay to not move the ball," I would have been much more comfortable with that. I still would have been like, "What?" But I would have been like, "Okay, I guess I understand it."
Yeah.
But either way, it was a silly penalty. 3 runs by Josh Jacobs. This was the third trip right here when Josh Jacobs ran it 3 times. This was the moment in the game where I was just like, LaFleur has a sack. You run it, you get a couple yards. You run it, you get stuffed. I was screaming at my TV, LaFleur, don't you dare throw this goddamn football. I was yelling at my TV, don't you dare throw this ball. And he handed it off to Josh. You let Josh Jacobs score that touchdown. So beautifully done by LaFleur there. I want to give LaFleur some credit because he's been getting kind of dragged, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Fourth trip, 1st and 18, Jacobs 18-yard run with a beautiful cuts for a touchdown. Josh Jacobs looked really, really healthy and really good. He got banged up during the game, had a problem with his knee, but he looked really, really good. Fifth trip, played conservative, chewing clock until three touchdowns for number 10, and 5 for 5. I asked for 5 trips with at least 3, if not 4 touchdowns. They exceeded that. Nicely done offense. So I agree. That was all nicely done. Do you have any causes or concerns with the red zone offense?
No, they've been playing really well when they get in the red zone.
Yeah, I think they've been playing really well. I think the defense has been playing well. The Packers are doing everything right now, except we're gonna get into it. We'll get into it. I have some things I want to say after talking Jordan Love. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't understand the hate for Jordan Love at this point. I just don't. I think people are still stuck in like the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Like, if they don't play to that standard, they're not good enough for this team. And Jordan Love's going to go out there and have bad games. It's going to happen. Rodgers had bad games. Brett Favre had bad games. Like, all the quarterbacks you're probably comparing him to subconsciously or in your head have had bad games. But like, Jordan Love's going to be the quarterback until we decide to move on from him. But I don't expect that to be anytime soon. Like, he's gonna be our quarterback probably for the next decade.
Yep.
And like, honestly, you're just gonna have to learn to live with it. If you don't, I think whoever listens to us is smart enough to like know that Jordan Love's the guy.
Yeah.
But there are still people that I see, like, there are people blaming Jordan Love for this game. I'm like, how? Like, what does this man have to do? What does he have to do? They put 37 points on the board in regulation.
Yeah.
That's not an offensive problem.
No.
Like, I don't know. Sorry, I got ranted a little bit.
Sure.
There's a couple of things I wanted to throw out there. Jordan Love completed 20 of 28 passes under 10 air yards. And this was totally a Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love game plan to assist the offensive line. He threw for 262 yards and 2 touchdowns on underneath attempts, completing at least 3 underneath passes to 6 different receivers: Kraft, Dobbs, Jacobs, Golden, Wilson, Williams. And outside the pocket, Jordan Love went 6 for 8 for 131 yards. I kind of said it a little bit earlier too. He can move. Like, it's good to see him when the play breaks down. There's nothing out there. He throws the ball away when he knows it's not possible. Like, I love seeing that developmental from Love. Love seeing that from Love. And then I love seeing him scramble. Like, he's not willing to lower the boom. I know I don't love seeing it, but it's good to see him go out there and be aggressive with his running style.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I have 2 things to nitpick. One, people that are comparing Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to tell you right now, if you weren't a Packers fan before the last 3 seasons, what you saw on Sunday is exactly what Aaron Rodgers dealt with for about a decade. He had to score 37 to try to win games. Now, thankfully, that hasn't been the case so far this year. I'll take the number saying that 75% of our games we've been playing super really good defense, right? Obviously, we've given up, I think it was 84 points on the season. 40 of them came on Sunday. So 44 points in 3 games is like, what is that, like 15? 14?
Less, a little under 15.
Yeah. So really, really good stuff. And I got one thing I got to nitpick on Jordan Love. This is the next step for growth before I give him his credit. He's got to start holding his players accountable. These pre-snap penalties. There's a viral video of Aaron Rodgers cussing out a center saying, "Snap the ball."
Yeah.
Rodgers was not afraid to get in your face. Brett Favre, not afraid to get in your face and hold you accountable. Rodgers has to. Rodgers. I loved watching Rodgers beat up on the Vikings on Sunday morning. By the way, that was a great way to wake up. Jordan Love has to start holding his players accountable. If you have 2 false starts, I need to see Jordan Love getting in somebody's face and being like, "Hey, get your goddamn head out of your ass. I'm trying to win a football game here." It's okay to say that stuff. As a true friend, if my friend is messing up or being silly, I'm going to tell him that he's messing up or being silly. I'm not going to say it that nicely, but I'm going to let him know, like, bro, you are better than this. And this is the next step for Jordan Love in leadership, in my opinion. That's where he has to get to.
I think
Also,
that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, people want to say Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. He wasn't afraid to get in his teammates' faces, dude. Peyton Manning, there's a viral clip of him too with
Jeff Saturday. Yep.
Talking about, hey, you got a block for me, and Jeff Saturday saying, run the damn ball. Those disagreements are going to happen, but at the end of the day, they have the same goal. They want to win. So if your guys are messing up, you got to hold them accountable. Be like, hey, I need you guys to protect me. I need you to stop at the pre-snap penalties. I'm trying to read the defense. I'm trying to get the ball out quick. I know how hard this is. We're going to run the ball. You don't have to worry about that. Matt's going to make sure we run the ball enough. You don't have to worry about that. I'll check into some runs as well. But you guys have to stop hurting yourselves. That's the only thing they're not doing correct right now. I think they have like the 5th or 6th most penalties in the NFL right now.
I believe it.
I think they have like 37 or 36.
I believe it.
I saw it today. I should have wrote it down.
I can look it up while you're still talking.
But Jordan Love, as a football player, 27 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, what more can you ask from the guy? The guy was he was checking at the line. He was hitting some intermediate passes. He was trying to push the ball down deep. You know, in the day and age where everybody plays freaking too high and it's hard to hit deep shots, you know, Jordan Love tries to go out there and still make you respect it, even without 2 of his biggest deep threats, right? And Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. Now, I wish they would use Matthew Golden a little bit more in that role, but I digress. Maybe
I think we'll get there. We'll get there.
I think we will get there. He's maybe not ready for that part of the playbook yet.
Well, I feel like he's been like his role is increasing every week, and he's been producing more every week. But I feel like once we get in like the middle towards the end of the season, and we'll start seeing him get like 60, 70, 80-yard games on a semi-consistent basis. He's still a rookie.
Yeah, so Justin commented and said Sean Ryan has at least one critical penalty, you know, and he's got to get it together. Dude, I'm not a big Sean Ryan guy.
I was really hopeful for him last year after his rookie year and the suspension, because this is his 3rd or 4th year.
I think it's his 3rd year.
Hold on one second. Let me make sure. Yeah, it is his 3rd year. I was really hopeful, and you know, there's still some growth for him, and his, you know, there's time for him still. Like I'm not,
there is
totally out on him, but he's been struggling a little bit this year.
Yeah, I'm not. There's no secret. I wasn't a Sean Ryan guy last year. I'm not a Sean Ryan guy right now. But you know, that's the best part about sports and the best part about opinions. They're allowed to change. They're allowed to change your opinion on them. So you know, he could absolutely put together a freaking all-pro 10-week stretch, and I just eat my words. But as of this moment right now, I'm not really a big Sean Ryan.
I hope
guy.
so.
He had 2 pulls early in the game, did absolutely freaking nothing with both of them, and he had a false start. And I was just like, dude, this fucking guy, dude. I'm so sick and tired of his freaking curly hair and mustache. Oh, yeah. I was just. He had
2 brutal penalties this week.
Yeah, dude, I was done with him after the first couple of drives. I was like, dude, I'm so done with this freaking guy. But you know, back to Jordan Love. Love has just been really good. That big time run he had. He's been phenomenal in my opinion this year. He's 5th in passing yards, I believe, with like an even 1,000 or like 1,001. It's really close to that. It's like 1,000 even, I think. Yeah. But he's 5th in total passing yards right now. So I don't know what more you want from him. He won the scepter for angry run. He literally ran a corner over and made his head touch his feet, which was crazy to me. Jordan Love's been good. I don't know what people are seeing when they say he's not worth $255 million. I want you to tell me, in football speak, I guess is how I'm going to say it. Tell me what Jordan Love does bad. That's what I want people to tell me. And whenever I challenge people with that, they can't tell me because they don't understand the checks.
The problem is like yes, Jordan Love had a turnover this game, but and I'll place a little bit of blame on him. I think he got a little loose with where the football was, and so it made it easy for the defensive end to swipe at it. So he just needs to bring that little issue in a little bit. But other than that, like Rasheed Walker got beat pretty clean on that. It was a pretty quick to the quarterback. That was the other sack I was thinking of. So other than that, like that's what people see, and then they see a loss, and then they automatically attribute the loss to, oh, it must be Jordan Love's fault because he allowed a turnover in our side of the field. Like, I don't know if you want to go in that debacle too on that, because that was right before halftime, and I don't know how you feel about it. I feel a little wishy-washy. I'll put my thoughts out there real quick. I feel really wishy-washy. It seemed like we were being aggressive at first and wanted to go put points on the board, which I love. That's what I like. I'd rather aggressive and live with the consequences. But then you also get a little bit reckless. It was third down, and I think we looked at it and there was 0 timeouts left, right? And we're on our side of the field. It just, at that point, doesn't make sense to, like, Daniel Whelan's been punting the ball really well, and our defense up to that point had playing pretty decent. They should have kicked the ball, in my opinion, should have kicked the ball off, played the defense game, try to not let Aubrey get like a 70-yard attempt. I don't know if you think the same way or.
So right after the penalty, that was the play before the pass that they tried to call. I would have just literally just ran the ball.
Yep.
It was third down.
I was thinking the same
Run
thing.
the ball with Jacobs. If you get 5 yards, you get 5 yards. At worst case scenario, you're making the Cowboys spend a timeout. I think they still had 1 left. You're making the Cowboys spend a timeout because they're going to try to get a field goal attempt, right?
Yep.
And if you make them spend a timeout, you let Whelan kick the damn ball, you play defense. I agree with everything that you just said because they just scored a touchdown, right? So you're coming off a touchdown. You're going to try to get a touchdown. Oh, no, they just punted it to us. Didn't they? Am I missing?
I believe so.
I believe they just punted it to us. So I still agree with you. After the penalty, that was the drive killer. You go into halftime because the Cowboys start with the ball. So after the fumble, you give them the lead and they start with the ball. So now the momentum, which was sitting on your side, is completely on the Cowboys side. Yep. So now at that point, which people are not understanding, is all the pressure now shifts onto Jordan Love. Because now he's thinking, shit, I got to score. Defense got to get a stop, which they did, first drive, and then we got to score, which he did. To his credit, Jordan Love came out and swung back at the Cowboys after they took the lead. And he kept swinging, and he was trying his best. Devontae Wyatt going down allowed the run game for the Cowboys to get going because apparently he's the only defensive tackle on the roster that understands what a fucking C-gap is. Dude, if I got paid every time I was yelling fucking C-gap during Sunday's game, I would have a lot of money right now. I'm being so dead ass, dude. That shit was ridiculous, bro. I was like, what are we doing, bro? You can't shift them over one hole? Good Lord, dude. That shit was pissing me off. But anyways, I thought Jordan Love played great. Yeah. Honestly, the only person that I was mad at during this game was Rich Bisaccia. That's the only person I was mad at. Other than that, I'm fine with everything else. Let's just get healthy after the bye.
Yeah, I think we'll see why it's going to be week to week. I don't know if you saw that or not. Yeah. So it's even after the bye, it might be tough sledding for him to come back. We'll see. We'll see next week when we talk as well. And then we'll see what happens with Watson too. There seems to be a lot of optimism about him and his health coming back. And then Jaden Reed's, I think, going to be out a little bit while, right? Like, I haven't heard anything about him. Last thing I saw was like it's going to be a little bit.
What would they say? Like they said, like 8 to 10 weeks or whatever. So that was around. If we're being realistic, right? We were optimistic and realistic on this show. If we're being realistic, 8 weeks would be week 10, week 11. I would expect them to come back around 12, maybe, if everything is all good with how the Packers kind of operate with injuries, especially foot stuff. I know the clavicle is kind of pretty straightforward. When the fucking bone's healed, the bone is healed. Yep. The thing that's going to worry them is the foot, right?
Yep.
So if that's all good to go by week 12, week 13.
But they made it seem like it was almost on the same timeline. Like they weren't worried about it adding any time to the clavicle. So, I mean, that's good news.
If he's cutting and all that stuff and he can deal with contact, I think they'll let him go out there. By that point, you would like to think that Savion Williams and Matthew Golden are kind of up to speed on everything. You would like to think that the offensive line has their rhythm, the defense is established in what they're doing. I think I don't know if people want to hear this, but I know that Packers fans are kind of joking around with all the stuff about Jeff Hafley. We got to make him sound bad. I think that he has some shit up his sleeve, bro. And I think he's trying to hold on to it for Week 10 versus the Eagles. That's really what I feel like. Like I feel like he's playing. I think he's playing a really vanilla style of defense right now because he's trying to hold on to his shit for the big dogs.
I can't wait for that game either. That's a home game, right? I think that's a home game.
It is a home game.
That'll be sick, dude. I wish I was there.
That's going to be a Monday nighter too, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's going to be an elite game, bro.
Last thing Bryant said about Love is he said, "Love is him. Anyone saying otherwise is brain dead." I legit saw people saying get rid of him. They need to stop watching football.
Yeah. So I have one last thing I'll end on. And if you're available tomorrow, if Tyler is feeling better, we will be covering the Brewers and Badgers football. Mikey will be joining us. Next week we will be doing our preview for the Packers and Bengals game. But talking about the Brewers, a lot of Brewers fans are like, "Oh, I don't want the Cubs. The Cubs fans are going to take over." Blah blah blah. And people talking about the Packers the last couple of weeks. Oh, for 2 weeks we were the Super Bowl favorites. We were the best team they ever seen in their freaking lives. Oh my God, we're gonna run the table. Rasheed Walker's talking about going undefeated. People are talking about going undefeated. We might not lose. Blah blah blah. If you can't deal with adversity, do not watch sports.
Yeah,
I'm being so dead ass. I love sports. I love sports for one main reason, because it has merit. Somebody wins and somebody loses every game, I guess, apparently, except on Sunday. But that is the thrill of sports. The victories feel so good and the losses hurt. But that is what sports are. And if you cannot handle that, do not watch sports. I'm being so serious. Also, Jordan Love is going to be our quarterback for 10 plus years. So just get over it. Yeah. So thank you again to everybody. Simon, thank you for dealing with this.
Yeah, man. Technological issues happen.
Disaster class. But hey, we figured it out like we always do. Just like the Packers are going to figure it out. So people need to calm down. We got a couple bad teams coming up. So they're literally going to probably run off like 4 or 5 wins in a row if they get their head out of their ass with the pre-snap penalties. But we'll see what happens. And next week we'll be back talking about Packers Bengals. So everybody have a great night. And talk to you later.
Later. Go Pack, go.